Let's get started with ZBrush Core. The first thing you're going to see is this home page that pops up. You can go immediately here to the settings and say, you know what, I don't need to see this unless something's updated, or you can always have it pop on. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and close these out. And you can also see the home page button up here. If you want to go to the home page again, just click that and you'll be good to go. Next thing you're going to notice is this lightbox area up here. This is just basic file setup. And you're going to notice it's a little bit different than ZBrush. There is no concept of a tool in a document or a project. Everything in ZBrush Core is a Z project. So when you go File, Save As, you're just saving one single file, which is nice. It's very a little more concise, a little less to explain. Anything that's in here, we're going to start with, opens up by default the Projects tab. And you're going to see in here heads you can start with, a dog, animals you can start with, you got head planes. If you double click on these folder icons here, you'll see it goes into a folder. If you want to go up one directory, you just double click that up, bent up arrow. If you keep doing that, you're going to see where these live. And I'll go ahead and just open up on my computer here and we'll go to ZBrush Core. And basically where all these folders live is under C, Program Files, Pixelogic, ZBrush Core. And if you go in here to Z Projects, you're going to see the dog, the demo soldier, the demo head, all of that stuff is right here into the Z Projects folder. So if you know, just so you're aware of where all these things live outside of Lightbox, that's where they are. So for instance, if say we want to open up a head planes folder, I'll double click on the head planes directory, and then we'll open up head planes female. If you click once, you're going to see the rest of the name, head planes female. 128 ZBR. We'll get a little bit more into that when we get into Dynamesh, but that's basically a Dynamesh resolution. Here's one that's 256. We'll just double click the 128 here, and that goes ahead and loads up the Z project. If you want to open up another sample file, just hit the comma key and that'll open up the lightbox, or you can just click this lightbox button up here and then it'll go back to the last tab that you're in this case, project head planes. Let's go up one. And we'll go ahead and go to the Dynamesh Sphere 128. We'll double click that one. And this is basically what you start out with when you first launch ZBrush Core. So now we're back at kind of the default. Let's talk a little bit about the menu system within ZBrush. And this is very similar to, we'll call it Big Brother ZBrush. ZBrush Core has a menu system up here and it's in alphabetical order. So you can go here to like File, for example, File, Save As. That'll save your Z project, ZPR. And you'll also notice that as I kind of just roll over some of these menu items. For this one, it's Save Project As, it's Control S. And if you hold down Control, that'll give you more information on the Save As button. And everything in here has that kind of functionality. So if I roll over this persp right here, that is perspective distortion. That turns perspective on and off if you touch it. And if you hold down Control, then you'd also notice it has P. So if you tap P on your keyboard, that's the hotkey. And if you hold down Control, it'll give you a little bit more info about that. So just as you're going through these menus, feel free to just hover over and just get a, well, maybe not materials here, get a description of possibly, you know, what these things are. Here's your floor grid, that's Shift P, and then you can hold down Control and it'll explain what the floor grid is. We'll get more into this as it becomes more relevant. We're just going to dive right in, and I want to get through the setup stuff kind of quickly so we can get there and start having fun, because that's, I think, the whole point of ZBrush Core is just to get in there and start creating. So, but just really quickly, we're going to talk a little bit about the menu system. So we have menus up here. So for example, we have a tool menu. Now you're going to see when I open this tool menu, it kind of dragged this tool menu over, right? All this is a tool menu that has been docked in this area. So you're going to see these little double arrows here. Those are your docking stations, we'll call them. And if you click those, it'll close them. If you click those little two arrows here, it'll open them. So it's a divider here, and it's got one here, and it's got one here. It's actually got one down here. I don't use this one very much, but I certainly use these two on the right and the left quite a bit. So for instance, when you open up this one, I think by default brush will be hidden in here, some brush settings over there. And you'll have tool over here. If you open up the tool menu, it's not doing anything weird. It's taking the tool menu you have docked and opening it up over here. So for menus you want to go into a lot, you generally dock them to one side of your screen or the other. Or when I'm doing a lot of demo stuff, I'll go ahead and open up both dividers so I can be looking at tool stuff here, because once we get rolling in here, you're going to see as I can open up these. So these are the menu. These are the big menu here. If I click once, that'll go ahead and roll that menu up into one just clickable menu name. Then you can click it again and open it up. You can also go up here and just kind of navigate it thusly. You're also going to know there's submenus. So the reason why you might want to have a docked menu is because you're going to be constantly kind of going back and forth with common menu items. So you can do some custom interface in ZBrush Core, some hotkey. We'll explore those in just a bit. But for now, you can open up submenus here, and once you start opening up submenus, you're going to see these things start getting really long. So you're going to want to click and drag, and now you're navigating a docked menu with open submenus. So you can keep clicking these submenus, and it'll keep opening them up, like so. And then you can go back through and you can close them just by tapping on the submenu name. And like I mentioned before, you can close all the way up to the main menu here. Now, if you want to, you can also drag more menus into one docking area. So the tool menu, I usually leave just open to the right because there's a lot of stuff in here. So I'm going to be, it's a big enough menu where it kind of deserves its own docking space. Over on the left, I might have a couple things open. So for instance, I'll have brush open. Let's say, you know what, I'm also messing around with maybe the alpha menu. So I'm going to open up the alpha menu, and you're going to see this little white dot here. Go ahead and grab that and throw it over there, and that'll just toss it right on top of the alpha. Now I've got two main menus in here, alpha, brush. You can even throw document in there if you'd like. As many as you want. You can just dock them over here and just open them up as needed. And if you want to get rid of some of these menus, all you need to do is you can just click the little white dot, or you can click and drag it into your empty space in your little background here, and it'll get rid of it. And then if you want to just load something else up, go brush, and you can just tap it once and it'll throw it over there. Or if you want to control exactly where that goes, just grab it and just pull it on over in there. And you know what, before we get into primitives and geometry and stuff, let's just start making something. I think ZBrush Core is simple enough to where we can just start having fun right up front. So let's go ahead and do that. By default, you'll have a standard brush selected. So your brush menu is over here. And so we don't get confused, I'm going to go ahead and close that docking station just by clicking those double arrows here. And you will be able to draw right onto your mesh here. So this is your mesh that you're working on, and a little bit of 3D we're going to get into. You're going to see by default that floor is turned on, so I can turn that off and turn that on by hitting the floor button. Or if you roll over it, you can do Shift P, and you can hold down Control if you want to read even more about floors. If you go down here to the bottom, you're going to see a blue line pointing straight out, a red line pointing to the left, and then let's see, if I turn on transparent, no, I can't really see it. You'll have to trust me that there is a green line going straight up from the floor. That is your y-axis. The z is the blue is your z-axis, and the red is your x-axis. All that I really care to show you right now is that this blue line should be pointing towards the front of your object. So this is a face. Let's do just kind of dig that in, and since it's a standard brush, you can hold down Alt, and that will dig in. If you don't hold down Alt, by default, it will add. So up here, you'll see Z add and Z sub. If you hold down Alt, it's a Z sub. If you don't hold down Alt, it's a Z add. So already, just with the standard brush, you're able to go ahead and just start sculpting right here on your object.